the brink of empty, right? And they have absolutely no other type of water network at this point because that's completely gone too. Their power plant is completely out of fuel, and they're using backup generators right now that only provide a certain limited period of time. And people are claiming only hours left of energy. Do you understand this? So what I'm not going to sit here and listen to is Israel caring for these civilians, because they don't. They do not at all. No. And you are not going to sit here and tell me that all of this conduct is being done simply on the basis of Hamas. Listen, national security is an issue, and I 100% agree. Right? If you're a country, right, even though I'm Palestinian, right, and I'm on the Palestine side, at the end of the day, let's use rational reasoning right now. If you're a country and you feel threatened by a certain group of people, okay, right, you're gonna create protocol that's actually going to target those people, but that's not their protocol. Their protocol is targeting civilians, and their actions prove that.
Okay, let me ask you a question. If you put a bunch of people in a room, can you look at them and figure out who's a terrorist and who's not a terrorist just by looking at them?
Wait, say it one more time.
If you put a bunch of people in a room, can you figure out who's a terrorist and who's not a terrorist?
I guarantee you people would make assumptions.
Yeah, people would make assumptions, but no, like, you really can't.
But that's the problem. First of all, let's take that word out of there. Terrorist. What is a terrorist? That word is a label. It's a label. It's like I tell people I'm a communist, socialist, anarchist, but I hate labels. I say, I'm an atheist and agnostic because I hate labels. The idea is labels are just words people use to say you're bad and I'm good, and that's wrong. To say that the Palestinians are terrorists, I think what Israel's done to the Palestinians is terrorism myself.
Somebody just said that the civilians are collateral damage.
No, that's not. No, collateral. This is genocide. That's not collateral damage. Okay, they have no way to protect themselves. They don't have basic human rights. They don't even have water. They don't even have food. That's not collateral damage. That is literally a massacre.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Yeah,
let's say you had a neighbor, okay, and you were paying a fee, and they were getting all utilities for free. And they're sitting there treating you like shit, but they're getting everything for free. They're living completely for free on your money. Is that okay?
Okay, can I respond to this, guys?
Yes.
First of all, I want to point out the fact that Gaza is forcefully dependent on Israel because Israel gives them no choice.
Yes.
Okay, that's number one. Number two, they give certain aspects to Gaza for free, right? Certain things, right? I'll agree with that. But at the end of the day, just because they do doesn't mean that they should have the right to take it away. And you just said, you used this analogous example, this hypothetical example of receiving something for free and then being hurt by those people you ended up giving those free things to, right? The civilians in Gaza are not harming the Israeli government, right? They're not. So that example in itself is flawed. You can't use that as an argument. The civilians are not doing anything to the Israeli government. Even if they wanted to, they cannot. They don't have the money, they don't have the resources, they don't have the funds.
Of course they have the money. Joe Biden literally just gave them $6 billion.
Wait, what?
Joe Biden literally funds Hamas.
Who funds who?
Hamas.
Who funds Hamas? Do you think
Hamas was elected by the
people?
I'm gonna
be honest. Listen, I feel like we could both agree about this right now. Do you think Hamas, right, is going to, which, by the way, that $6 billion, not all of it was given to Hamas, but either way, they were given some money. We know that Iran funds Hamas. Do you think that Hamas is sitting there and he's putting they're putting the money that they received from Iran in infrastructure right now and in schools? Do you think they do that? Because at the end of the day, understand that Hamas is not a government, they're a third-party defense force, right? They don't govern Gaza, right? The point of a government is to maintain law and order, and we all can agree that they're not maintaining law and order in the Gaza Strip right now.
Correct.
Of course, but they are the reason that all these people are being
so their funds don't go. Their funds don't go there. So
but like I said, they are the ones to blame for that.
But I know, but I was just pointing out the flaw in your example, right? We can't blame the civilians because they're not doing anything wrong.
That's like, literally, okay, so you just said Joe Biden gave them $6 billion, right?
Well, he didn't give it to them. He unfroze assets.
But
sure.
Either way, $6 billion saying Joe Biden in the United States which is great. But my point is, okay, that doesn't mean I agree with everything Joe Biden does, because I definitely don't agree with 90% of it. That's like saying all the Palestinians agree with what Hamas did, when reality is 90% of them probably don't. So like you're grouping this group with this other group, and they don't need to be related to each other. This is literally what I want you to understand is that this is a genocide. It's literally a mass killing of a group of people, and you're trying to justify it, and you can't. There's no justification for that on either side ever. But for some reason it only matters if it would have been a mass genocide on the Israeli side. It doesn't matter because it's a Palestinian side. That's a flawed logic, and I need you to realize that. I need you to really dig deep and see that either way you go, killing that mass amount of people, those children, those women, those men, anybody, killing mass amount of civilian casualties is unacceptable on either side. And if you can't realize that, there's no talking to you.
And I think that's another point that I mentioned to you, Kate, earlier, is that whenever I mention the brutality that's being inflicted upon the Palestinians, people just automatically mention Hamas. Right. They disregard it and they mention Hamas. I'm not talking about Hamas right now.
That's all we're shown.
I'm not talking about Hamas right now. I'm talking about the actions of the IDF right now.
Can I explain one thing?
Can I say something real quick?
Yep.
They're just not okay.
Democracy Now!
Yeah.
Anybody here watch Democracy Now!
Hi, Ronnie.
I'm a person who lives in Israel right now. First of all, I want to say, I'm not trying to attack y'all. I'm just trying to explain to you my point of view of what's going on right now. Listen up. First of all, I think that a lot of people who read history know that the Gaza civilians, the Arabs, the Palestinians were given multiple choices to have their own country. At the plea deal, I don't know if that's the correct word to use. I don't know. The deal that was before 48, they were given almost 60% of the property of Israel, and they declined it. They had multiple reasons and choices to accept this offer. We, as Israelis, as
why did they
Jewish
decline
people,
it though?
They declined it because they wanted the whole thing, which makes sense. Which makes sense. But first, the beginning of history, Jewish people were hunted. Jewish people never had their own country. Think of it. We're surrounded in Arab countries. Okay,
but now you're doing it with other people.
So listen, I'll agree, right? Jewish people have had, right, a very, very tragic history, right? And they have been brutalized as well. At points in time, they have been brutalized 100%. But we can't use that as an excuse to do what's happening right now.
Listen,
we can't do that.
Okay, I'm sorry.
And mind you, Palestinians have rejected, right? Like, for instance, they rejected the first resolution that was made. That was Resolution 181, right? And that was partitioning Palestine into two states, right?
Yeah,
Israel and Palestine. But they did in 1948, right? And they keep denying them, right? And that's simply because they want their land. They don't want to be amongst the people that have been oppressing them since 1945. Okay, it wouldn't make sense to have it that way, but you mentioned that they have been denying it and that Israel's been giving them chances or whatnot, giving them peace treaties, whatever, and they keep denying them. Does that still give Israel the right to commit the crimes that they're committing against the Gaza civilians because they don't want to accept those treaties?
Listen, okay. So I want to make myself clear, to clear my point. Everything that Israel does is a response to the Hamas actions. We never intentionally started a war. We never threw missiles. We never fired rockets at Gaza. In fact, we gave them money, supplies, electricity, everything they needed. Okay? And I'm not saying that everything that the IDF does, wait, let me finish. I'm not saying that everything that the IDF has done is 100% correct. Of course, in wars, there are mistakes. And I'm agreeing with you that innocent people shouldn't be killed. But let me ask you, you're the Americans here, okay? When Japan bombed Pearl Harbor, okay, and you attacked them with an atomic bomb, do you really cared about the people in Japan? 2,000
the innocent people?
I protest.
I personally care, but
you guys, this is about, we can't create the subject of matter where we're now distinguishing between the difference of innocence,
I'm
right?
asking you
Innocence is
this-
innocence at
I'm
the end of the
asking
day.
you this-
Whether you're Israeli, or whether you're Palestinian,
Okay,
right?
okay.
Or whether you're Chinese, or whether you're this, or whether you're